country forward. My name is Ubong Usora, and I'm saying welcome to the show. On the show tonight, we'll be looking at Anambra's election that will be coming up tomorrow, as we have a correspondent who is live for us in Anambra State, as we will be talking to her as she shares experience and what is going on in the state with us at the moment. And also on the show, we're looking at President Donald Trump's remarks about Nigeria and what this comment actually means for us as a country at this moment in time of our nationhood. But let's go for the short break, and we'll go back. I'll be leading you through some of the political stories that we're able to track for you tonight. Let's go for this break. We'll be right back. Right, so let's get to check some political stories we're able to track for you at the moment. The first story we're bringing tonight says a PDP factions protest as U.S. Embassy over alleged intimidation. All right, so some members of the People's Democratic Party today staged a peaceful protest at the United States Embassy in Abuja, calling for international intervention to safeguard Nigeria's democracy and prevent alleged drift towards a one-party system. Let's take another story. Meet 34-year-old Zohran Mamdani, a Muslim major-elect in Trump's birthplace. So just as the United States President Donald Trump was making headlines in Nigeria for his harsh critique of the government over alleged Christian genocide and threats of military intervention, a different kind of political contradiction emerged from his own birthplace. Another story tonight. Don't anoint any aspirant, ex-governor warns Zamfara APC. A former governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress in Zamfara State, Sani Shinkafa, has warned party leaders against imposing candidates ahead of the 2027 general elections. Another story tonight. Avoid illegal migration. NISCG warns Ogun residents. The Nigerian Immigration Service has expressed deep concern over the increasing number of Nigerians losing their lives in Europe and America as a result of illegal migration and migrant smuggling in search of greener pasture. We take another story. Shun drug abuse, cultism, NDLEA tells Cross River students. So the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency has cautioned youth, especially secondary school students in Cross River State, against engaging in drug abuse, cultism, and negative peer influence, warning that such vices could destroy their future and derail their dreams. We'll take this story now. Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration commitment to defeating terrorism and strengthening diplomatic ties with Nigeria's global partners. And those are the stories we are able to track for you tonight on the program and help you understand what it means and what is going on in Nigeria at this particular time. We'll be trying to get across to our correspondent who is live for us at this time in Anambra State, Anietia Patrick, as we get live updates about the elections that will be coming up tomorrow in Anambra State, right? Elections that will be coming up tomorrow in Anambra State. There's a lot of speculations about the elections and what is happening and what will be happening, yeah? And as we were trying to get that report for you, so that we could get to understand what it means for us as Nigerians at this time. Let's go for this short break, and when we're back, we'll have Anietia Patrick join us live from Anambra as we look at Anambra Decides and what is happening at the moment. We are going to be giving you an update, day to day, hour to hour update about the things going on there, because we have people on the ground. Thank you so much. We'll be right back after this break. All right, so we're trying to get connected to our correspondent, Anietia Patrick, who's live for us in Anambra State at this moment as we look at Anambra Decide and what is going on in Anambra State at the moment. But we're having some network difficulties. We'll try our best to see if we can bring her back before the end of the show tonight. But let's move to other issues as we hope to get Anietia on the line so we could actually talk about what is going on in Anambra. She's actually live for us in Anambra at the moment. So we're trying to get across to another guest as we talk about Nigeria and what Donald Trump's comment means for us as a nation at this time. And it is quite very important that we understand what it means, because we've seen our president today say that he is engaging diplomatically with the international community because of this particular concern. We'll be talking to Mr. Okpeyemi, who is an advocate for a good Nigeria and how we could actually move Nigeria forward. It is quite very important and quite very germane that we're able to move this country forward. We're able to, do the things we have to do, put out the right things and do things the right way so we could get this movement. Remember that some days ago we had US presidents. This is after there's been a lot of trial, right? There's been late night show hosts in the US who have actually come out to talk about Nigeria and the killings of Christians as a genocide, and they've been calling numbers as to some reports that has been made by some prominent civil societies and all of that. And we even had Congress people in the US like Senator Ted Cruz, come out to talk about this. And even tried to introduce bills as to asking the US president to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern. And this has been something that we've seen very well in, going forward. And all right, and this has actually led to a trajectory that some days ago we saw US President Donald Trump, where he came about and talked about the fact that he called out the killing of Christians as a genocide, and he said those who are in leadership must take action, except if action is not taken, he's going to be sending troops into the country. And this has actually elicited much debate and drama as to people talking about what does it mean for Nigeria as a country that is a sovereign nation, right? Does it take away our rights as a sovereign people, and what can we actually do as a country at this time? And we've even seen senior people in Nigeria, air their views as to what Nigeria can do at this particular time. What do we stand to gain as a country? All right, so we're trying to get connected to our guest tonight, who will be helping us to make sense of the discussion around some of these things and what it really means for Nigerians at this time, right? So let's try to pull out some of the tweets that Donald Trump made to actually show the audience and understand what was in the mind of Donald J. Trump, President of the US, when he said what he said at the time. These are some of the conversations we'll try to have tonight as we look at different angles and what it means for us as a people, what it means for us as a nation. Some people have talked about the fact that Nigeria is actually a sovereign nation. And as a sovereign nation, we have the right to make decisions, and nobody can just say you want to, come and invade our country and all of that. There's been all of that arguments back and forth. But let's see if we have Mr. Okoyemi with us, joining us. A very good evening to you, Mr. Okoyemi.
Good evening, Mr. Obong, and good evening, Nigerians.
All right, it's good to have you on the program. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we're looking at international politics and Donald Trump's comment. Donald Trump's comment on Nigeria. We saw the president of the US after. Right, it's been more than 8 months following the policy. We saw the reports that came out from the inter-religious department of the United States, where they talked about the genocide, supposedly genocide in Nigeria, and we saw some podcasters started talking about it. We saw late night shows in the US, which we know form opinion to a great extent, talked about it. And we saw Senator Ted Cruz, talked about it, called President Donald Trump and mentioned it, and even talked about introducing a bill in Congress. And finally, we saw US President Donald Trump first calling Nigeria a disgraced country and calling the leaders to take action. And subsequently, we also saw President Donald Trump saying that he's going to be sending troops into Nigeria if nothing is done. Let's talk about all of this, because I know you must have followed the news and you followed the trajectory. For you, how does it feel that this is what is happening in Nigeria at this time?
Honestly, as a Nigerian, it's a very sad and difficult period for us. That, in all honesty, PUTUS has to be the one to awaken us to the place of a true reality of what has been on ground and what has been a norm for a while. As the Nigerian people that we are, and coming from a place of wanting to look at this particular scenario as one that will awaken the sensibilities of our originality. If you look at it from the left and the right trajectory, the American president has not said anything that is far from the truth. There are killings in the Nigerian space. Christian killings, Muslim killings, but citizens of the Nigerian state are being killed. And this has continued for far too long. Now, as the country that we are, did it have to take us for President Donald Trump to issue a signal for what we know that has been happening? There has been backwardness of our security architecture. Even though they have gone Chief of Defense Staff in the person of General Musa did some very good work, and we hope that also what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces in rejigging the architectural structure of the chain and command to now bring some good results. Nigeria should not be in this kind of disgraceful discourse. The President of America describes us as a disgraceful country. We are the face of the black race. Why did we allow it to get to this? Even though the current situation is at the table of Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, as of today, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yeah, go ahead.
We are supposed to use this, and we should not suppose. We should use this to change the trajectory of participation, inclusion, so that intelligence is gathered. We have terrorism on our country. We have terrorism within our territorial borders.
Right. So, Mr. Joe, sorry to butt in, but I like that a very fundamental question. So we could get the discussion on the right note. Is Nigeria are Christians in Nigeria are witnessing a genocide? That's one question that a lot of people have talked about. Is there a genocide going on in Nigeria at this time? Do you believe that that is what is happening? Because some persons have come out to say that what we have is actually killings that are fueled by insecurity, and it is not, secluded to Christians or to Muslims. It is killings that we are seeing all around and has to do with Nigerians. Do you think that that narrative by President Donald Trump that the Christian population in Nigeria are gradually being wiped away is actually correct?
I will not take President Donald Trump's submission as being totally correct. Are there numbers and data that have suggested that a high number of Christians have been killed in Nigeria? Yes. What is the data that we have that suggests that, and that is what we should not get into, a divide of the religious dimension to these discussions. In the first instance, and what has taken us backwards, is that there was a Western invasion of our place that suggested religious and tribal divides. Are we healing from that? Are we getting into a place of oneness and an indivisibility of the Nigerian state? Because Donald Trump, president, the chief of, as it were now, trying to enforce stability and a repair of what has been happening, we should look at and understand that the Nigerian state today needs more repair and healing, especially on all fronts. Mr. Obongao and our fellow Nigerian patriots, we should come together as one people collectively to channel a cause of oneness and inclusive repair of this country. Now, if you look at it from where we are being told and we know that yes, in some places, because these things happen in different localities, regions, and geographic places of Nigeria. If today you come to, you are going to, I'm sure it's in public domain that the governor of Plateau State, Governor Caleb Mutfwang, had described what was happening on the plateau as a genocide. There have been some Christian clerics that have gone to the United States Congress to make submissions to the fact that parishes, domains, lands, and we know the flashpoints of these things that are happening. So these discourses are intricately and concomitantly interwoven with security, religion, culture, and the Nigerian people. This is a conversation that is going to spread, and we hope that will bring forward a semblance and an actual repair and reintegration of the Nigerian people. We cannot be divided on the basis of ethnicity and religion when we are one. Al Benicio from inception, and we have to channel our own safety. Yes, we are going to need the foreign structures and the world powers. Okay, there's a support from China, seemingly in their conversations and in their rhetorics of diplomatic engagements already. We are aligned with France because I think France is our next door neighbor with the happenings of our president. And every time the Eagle One is touching down in France or in Paris. What is the take home of all of this? Where is the place that we are going to be saying, okay, we are near Uhuru? Terrorism and banditry.
Right. So, Mr. Ojo, so you are saying that you do not accept the submission that what is going on is genocide against Christians.
No, I do not accept that. Because if we accept that, that means we are beginning to allow for a division of our country.
But they've also brandished data to that fact. Have you heard the numbers that have been called? And so far, I've not seen from the presidency, they've not talked about the data. President Donald Trump mentioned some numbers.
Okay, and that also allows us to understand that diplomatic engagements have to be strengthened and made to be seen to be effective. All right, under this administration.
Right. So
we have not had diplomats we have not had ambassadors in office in the last 2 years.
Right. So there's also a question about the fact that Nigeria happens to be a sovereign nation, and this sovereignty means that we should make laws for ourselves. We should protect our territorial integrity and all of these things. But Donald Trump said he may have to send, American soldiers gun a-blazing into the now disgraced country. Do you think that rhetoric at the world stage is right for the giant of Africa? How does it portray Nigeria and our image, our global influence, our place in the community of nations? How do other nations see us and perceive us? Donald Trump saying he could send in people to come take out terrorists in our country.
I am sad and taken aback. lead.
Okay, you heard the question. The question is, how is Nigeria being perceived in the Committee of Nations? That's the question.
The question is the answering that I'm giving, the submission that I'm giving.
Okay, go ahead.
I am sad. We are Nigeria, and that is where this is our reality. That the President of the United States of America has issued this not once in a tweet. First tweet. Then there was a broadcast yesterday. I bought to cameras and sending this message again. This is because our interactions diplomatically with our ambassadors and our standing has fallen in the international community. The truth is that what is being discussed, are they accurate in data? Maybe not. Is there a reality of what is happening? Yes. Every day and every other day we are waking up on the plateau, Benue, Plateau State, Nasarawa, or some other places, even in the southwest. There is gross insecurity on the land. Do we have accurate data as to the submissions of a genocide against Christians? I am not sure. What should be the solution? It is that intelligence gathering, a willpower from the government, from the president, commander-in-chief of the armed forces, should be that a repair comes out of all of this. The DSS, the NIA, the DM, the Directorate of Military Intelligence, the Nigerian people, the narrative of a better country, oneness. We have the IPOB people in the southeast, the northwest, illegal mining, proliferation of arms. We know what happened when America went into Libya. It's not too long ago. What are the optics? And where do we stand as a sovereign nation?
All right, so the other question I'd like to ask, Mr. Ojo, is the fact that some persons have said, how should Nigeria handle this the trades being made by President Donald Trump? Some persons have said, diplomatically, let's engage. And some persons have said, let's call it a bluff. After all, we are a sovereign nation. I'd like to get your perspective on how you think Nigeria can handle this best, because we've talked about the fact that this is where we are, and you've said this is our reality. But if it's our reality at this moment, how do we go forward? How do we handle this maybe quagmire that we are at this time?
The best way to handle this is to engage the Council of the Wise. The Council of the Wise will never lead astray. And the Council of the Wise at this time is that who are the people that we know that if we use them to engage with America, they will listen to us? Are there victims of this wickedness and carnage that has carried on for so long? Are there leaders that have conscience and can speak truth to power, that we understand that this thing we can contain it if we want to? There have been. It's not. We will not call it a bluff, no. But we will engage intentionally and with the admonition of consistency, such that this thing is abated and is taken out once and for all. This is a disgrace to the nation that has lasted far too long. This is a disgrace to the giant of Africa. Let's be realistic with ourselves.
All right, so Mr. Ojo, I also like that we talk about the fact that it seems insecurity in Nigeria is transcending to all regions. Before, we used to talk about mostly the northwest, the northeast at the time, where we had Yobe as the flashpoint, Adamawa, and all of that, and Borno State, of course. But now we see that even in the northwest, that we have pockets of insecurity in Katsina and all of that. We know that in the north central, you just mentioned some states like Nasarawa, like Benue, like Plateau. In the southeast, we know Anambra, Imo. Of recent, I've witnessed a lot of carnage as well. And even in the southwest, there have been attacks or war, right? It's still something in Ondo State, it's still something that is very close to our hearts, and we remember what actually happened there. So it seems maybe away from maybe just the south, if it is, right, it seems all sections of Nigeria is going through one internal security problem or the other. Are you of the opinion that we need, because we've talked about overall, what can we do? Because we say we'll just stop the killing of Christians. If there is maybe something like that, and we talked about it, what happens to the other flashpoint of insecurity? Is it not still painting the giant of Africa, as we claim to be, in a very bad light?
Honestly, the truth is that security is the bane on which every other progression of development will work. At this time, our security is measuring up, but we are not yet at Uhuru. The security situation in Nigeria from 1999, this dispensation of our republic, up until today, has had a trickle up and a trickle down kind of movement. Yes, internal security today and regional security should be improved. We must have a resolution of adequate intelligence gathering. It's not only about the military, it's not only about the Air Force or the Navy. No. Or the other tripartite and holistic architecture of the armed forces, the interior, correctional services, even up to park rangers. There needs to be a redesign of our plan implementation and actualization. We've had different theaters. And these theaters have been in the different regions of the country. But what have come out of them? Not too much significance. Yes, now you look at it and say, okay, in some places, for instance, you can look at Kaduna State and say, okay, Governor Sani Uba, what is the magic that you have done? You have worked. We are seeing that southern Kaduna and generally in Kaduna State, there is no banditry, terrorism, or it has reduced to a significant minimum.
Right.
Again, can this be replicated in some other regions? The NSA, civil and military interaction, so that you can get intelligence, not that the civilians are scared of anything in uniform, or anyone, or any people, or any organization, as the case may be.
Right. So I like to, so we could still have the conversation. Is this an assessment or an indictment, or maybe you'd like to say a review of the Tinubu's led administration in 2 years? This Donald Trump's comments on Nigeria? Is it an assessment? Is it an indictment? Is it a review of President Bola Tinubu's 2 years in office as regards security handling? Does this, you understand what I mean?
Yes. This will be in the submission of the United States of America, both of what you have said, an indictment and an assessment. Because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the APC-led government have been in power and in sway for over 2 years. If this is coming, it means that also when President Donald Trump assumed office, and if you understand him talking to the whole world and assessing Nigeria as a disgraced country, he has assessed us. Has he indicted us? Very well so. Now, in him doing that, what is it for us to do? What is it for us to do? Honestly, there is no better time as a Nigerian to be more patriotic and to hold a belief in our sovereignty.
Right.
Because our sovereignty is being questioned. Our sovereignty is being ridiculed. Our sovereignty has been called disgraceful. So if I want to go into Heathrow tomorrow, if I want to fly into JFK tomorrow, and I hold my Nigerian passport, the president of the country where I'm going to has described me as a disgraceful citizen by extension.
Oh, so by extension, yeah, because by this explanation, you are saying it's not just about Nigeria, it's not just Bola Tinubu, it's about me, you, every other person who's in Nigeria.
That is the honest truth. That is the reality of what the gravity of what he has said is.
Right.
But it is on me, it is on you, it is on the participation and the inclusivity of governance with the people at the grassroots, and understanding that until you stand up to protect your people without somebody from outside coming to tell you or remind you that this is what is happening.
All right, so there's this conversation about the fact that Donald Trump may send in troops into Nigeria. I like that we also talk about that. People have questioned the fact that you can't do that under international law. That's invasion, because you cannot just send troops into Nigeria under supposed allegations of genocide against Christians. You don't have the right. I like that you respond to that, because it seems that Donald Trump keeps to his threats, and he may very well go ahead, and that's on one note. And number two, for me, I've been following reports as to countries who have reacted. Apart from China and the EU, I've not seen African countries who have come out to state their position on this matter. Do you think Africa needs to speak more, or why is it that we've not had any African country who's come out to be vehement about this representation of Nigeria at this time, and maybe just share brotherly love and a kindness and say, no, Nigeria is not disgraceful. We know Nigeria, they are trying their best. So two questions. The last one is African country, nobody is really showing solidarity to Nigeria at this time.
Okay, let me go back to our nativeness and our originality, and then permit me to say that Eshiwaji Niti and Iwosari, meaning that the horse that is in front is the one that the one behind looks at to take flight or to take action. We are supposedly the giant of Africa. Rightfully, we are the giant of Africa. What have we said as a country or as a sovereignty in reply categorically to President Donald Trump? The minister Tucker has made some talks. unto us that these other countries of the African nations we look up to say, okay, in the spirit of Ubuntu, what are they saying? What steps are they taking? Not that do we want to support them and say like this or like that? Is somebody from another continent that has first spoken for us, so China? Ching chong, chung chung, ching ching. Yes. So, in addressing these issues, if we don't put our foot down well, yes, we are aware that there are some intentions and then some permutations of also audiences and interactions vis-a-vis this thing that has come out. But until we take our own selves seriously, charity begins at home. Yes, we went to buy these things that Donald Trump said to President Muhammadu Buhari at the time, Allah Jikansa, has come back now to be our own reality that is saying to us, not even channeling it to our own president, but to the whole world. There was no consultation with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu before he designated us a disgraceful country. That has diminished us now. Let's be realistic.
So no African country is saying something and there's a threat of invasion. We are gradually running out of time. The two questions. Yes. Africa, what is Africa saying and threat of invasion? Can he actually invade Nigeria?
No, President Donald Trump is not going to invade Nigeria. He's going to be more sensible than to do that. Even though that on the sidelines, Asari Dokubo has said that if he comes, he will take him out. But let's not hold Mujahid Asari Dokubo's words with so much water, yeah, and so much value. We should hold it with some water and some value. It's from the riverine area. The reality of what President Donald Trump has said to us is that there needs to be engagement with the sovereignty of the United States of America as well.
Right.
The sovereignty of the black race of the world. And we cannot be undermined for that to happen. He has said it, we will engage and we will discuss. This is world issues. These are world issues. And it should not be that his word is bound and then that's what happens. No. Vehemently as a people and as a sovereignty, we reject it and we say that that is not the way to go.
All right. Thank you. We have to go now. Thank you so much, Mr. Okpeyemi Ujo, for always coming through for us. We really do appreciate your insights on the program tonight. Thank you so much for speaking to us. We'll keep talking to you.
Thank you so much for having us, and we pray that our country and our sovereignty will continue to increase, and the pride of Nigeria and the glory of Nigeria will be steadfast. God bless the Federal Republic.
Yeah, I have to say amen to that prayer. Thank you so much. All right, guys, so we've been speaking to Mr. Okpeyemi Ujo, who is an advocate for good Nigeria. Let's go for this short break as we try to connect with our correspondent who is live for us at the moment in Anambra State, Anyete Patrick, to give us live updates on what is happening at the moment as we prepare for Anambra Decides tomorrow. My name is Ubon Musara. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the program. I told you that we'll be having our correspondents join us live from Anambra, where we'll be covering the Anambra elections tomorrow. Anambra Decide. We have Anyete Patrick, a National Assembly correspondent, who is live for us at the moment in Anambra. A very good evening to you, Anyete.
Thank you so much, Ubong, for having me on the program. Well, there's a whole lot happening in Anambra. Sanctions high, people are excited. Movement into the town is going on smoothly. On our way getting here, we saw security checkpoints, ensuring that people are safe, getting into the city. And we just took a walk around the town to see what the situation is. And so far, so good. There's no cause for alarm. Materials are started coming in. But when we passed through the Central Bank of Nigeria here at Oka,
Right.
It's going well, and so as observers for the election process, and media practitioners also taking our time to see if there's anything. I just went around the city this evening from where I'm actually going to be putting in, and I've seen that the town is peaceful. Everybody's just looking around to see what next, who is going to emerge the governor for the people. So far so good. Oka is looking quiet and calm. Some of my colleagues across other states, Emily and Co, said they've also settled in, and so far everything is looking calm and settled. So we look forward to a fruitful outing. Even though the INEC chairman, who is still in Abuja, who just got back from the stakeholders engagement, has also said he's set to see a good electoral process and a democratic process for Nigerians. Try those in Oka, that's Anambra State basically, because he wants an election where there will be no litigation after the electoral process.
All right. What a wonderful time. I hope that you've settled in quite well. You've settled in quite well. You've had your dinner also and all of that, and you're fine.
Yeah, I am. I just had dinner. I'm getting set to relax a bit and prep myself for tomorrow and see what the day looks like. Still move around the city and feel the pulse of the people. And then ahead of the city distribution process for the materials across the local government areas from my INEC office.
Right,
That's
so,
from the rack points.
right. So apart from Oka, I know you have your contacts that will be giving you updates from other places. I know Newi is very popular.
Yes.
At least I know
Yes.
Newi. Yeah.
Yes, Newi, Demili, Onitsha, all of those areas will have our colleagues there as well. So we'll just keep tabs because obviously it has to be one person button at every point to see how this is done and how the process will be done across the state, across the local governments. We'll do our best to see how we can comb the areas and give back a report on how the process would look like.
All right, so I don't intend to take much of your time tonight. I know you need all of the rest you can get because, come on, tomorrow is going to be a very busy day for you. Thank you so much, Anyete Patrick, our National Assembly correspondent, who is live for us at the moment in Anambra, as we will be bringing you live update tomorrow on Global Morning for the elections that will be coming up on Saturday. Thank you so much, Anyete. We hope to keep speaking and keep talking, and we wish you all of the best. Do have for yourself a wonderful time doing your work and making sure that our democracy keeps growing.
Thank you, Bong. Always a pleasure.
All right, so we'll keep talking to Anyete and we'll keep talking to other of our colleagues who are actually on the field to get live updates as to what is happening in Anambra State. We hope and we want to have a very peaceful election, and this election is going to be a litmus test for Professor Ojo Onwuapita, the new INEC chairman. This is the first election that he is going to be conducted in his tenure, and we hope that it comes out very well, where the will of the people of Anambra will be represented at the ballots. Thank you so much for staying with me throughout today's edition of the program. My name is Ubong Musora, and I'm saying bye for now.